This episode contains discussions of one or more of the following sensitive topics, including smoking, drinking, suicide, death, self-harm, and other potentially triggering subjects. Listener discretion is advised. If you find these topics distressing, please prioritize your well-being in considering skipping this episode or listening with someone you trust. If you or someone is struggling, resources are available to help. Please don't hesitate to reach out for support. Welcome to Struggles in the Margins, the podcast where we embrace the messiness of life, our emotions, challenges, and personal projects. Find meaning in the in-between moments. I'm Natalia, and in each episode, we'll dive into the stories that shape us, the struggles that define us, and the healing journeys. This is a space for honesty, reflection, and connection. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's explore the struggles of life's margins together. Hello everyone. Today we're diving into a heavy but important topic, trauma. It's something many of us experience in many different ways, and while it can leave lasting scars, it can also teach us about resilience and healing. So, why did I choose trauma for this Thursday episode? Trauma is something I deal with. It's definitely something that affects many people, and I wanted, to be able to share that, be able to be there for people. Just so people knew that there's always a resource out there. And that it's okay to suffer from trauma, because a lot of people do, but that it can get better. But yeah, so what is trauma? Trauma is basically, I'm getting this from a reputable source. It's psychcentral.com. I'm thinking it's a reputable source. It was medically reviewed by someone with a PhD. This is the definition they gave. Anyways, but trauma is a response to an intensely stressful event or situation. The effects can be long-lasting, but healing is possible. So there's the different types of trauma. So I'm trying to think. There's emotional trauma. So that's basically the feelings that traumatic events leave us with. So it can be and it can literally alter our brain function. So means it can lead you to hopelessness. So I don't know if this is true or not. This is my thing. There's a good possibility that could turn into depression. So there's medical trauma, which I do not know what that is. I will admit did not research well for this episode. Basically, medical trauma is, when you're supposed to trust doctors and medical professionals, and they let you down and could possibly damage you, leading to trauma. Sexual trauma, sometimes sexually assaulted. I think that's the official term, because I want to say I have sexual trauma, but I don't think so, because I don't want to use the wrong word. Okay, so it's not. So sexual traumas, yeah, sexual assault and stuff like that, yeah. So I do not have sexual trauma. There's family trauma, which is family stuff. Refugee trauma. Sometimes refugees will have because of the situations they come from. Traumatic grief. I'm not completely sure about that one. And this is stuff like that can lead to trauma. So terrorism and violence, intimate partner violence, disaster trauma, the childhood neglect. So I already told you about emotional trauma. There's complex trauma, which is basically a series of traumatic events that can leave a lasting impact. Then there's also secondary trauma, which is basically it refers to being a witness to trauma, so witnessing a traumatic event. So yeah. Basically, I'm just trying to think. And then, okay, I'm going back to my outline. And obviously there's, like I said, emotional trauma, emotional, emotions, stuff like that. Physical trauma, so, sexual trauma, stuff like that, that's physical. Sometimes can be physical, like if you have, like, physical, like, scars or stuff, yeah, that's physical trauma. Psychological trauma in your head. And generational trauma, say trauma passed down through generations. So very sad. So like, say your great grandmother had something happen to her, she passed it down. Your grandmother passed it down to your mother. Your mother passed it down to you. That's generational trauma. And trauma can obviously affect people differently. Trauma is not just one. One, like, say, boom. But, some common symptoms are, like, intrusive thoughts, avoiding things that remind you of the trauma, hypervigilance, being, like, jumpy, activated by triggers, changes in how you see yourself. And I guess I think you call it a small window of tolerance, which is basically meaning you feel overwhelmed easily or have difficulty controlling your emotions. But yes, those are some common symptoms. Those are not everyone's symptoms. But yeah, so trauma is very personal and very, very valid, regardless of its source. So whether you were sexually assaulted or it's generational trauma, it's all valid, and it's all very, very personal. So, so obviously trauma. I'm trying to think, so I lost a lot of people, which piled up on me. And then I saw stuff that I probably should not have seen. I was 13 years old. I ended up seeing PORN on TV. Let's just say I was very traumatized. I was very uncomfortable in this situation, but I did not know how to speak up. And what's funny is that I can read spicy books and spicy fan fiction. Still gaga stuff, but like I can read this stuff, but I'm not trying to like make anyone feel bad here. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it. Anyways, but I do not physically want to have sex with anybody. That just grosses me out. I do want children, but just not the natural way. So whether that be adoption or IVF, I could not care less, but I just do not physically want sex because that grosses me out. When it happened, just made me very uncomfortable. And my cousin was there too. We never talked about it since. That is something I'm talking with her about. I don't even know what she felt from it. and I just stayed quiet, like, because I didn't want to get her in trouble, and I just stayed quiet for years, until my mother just found out recently, and though they, they affect me very negatively, because obviously I don't want my own kids, crazy statement to say, but, what happens, so, healing, there's obviously different steps to a person's healing, I mostly don't have my best friend there for support, that's it, and my brother, my mother, I just don't feel comfortable talking with her about that. Just not physically. Or just not, like, emotionally capable of that. I don't know. I don't like to talk to adults about it. I feel like I'd be pitied. I don't know why. I just don't like this. Like talking about it too much. My mom has told me I probably won't need therapy right now, but if it, in the future, possibility, I do sometimes, if I'm spiraling really bad, then I'll have my best friend there to lean on. I've learned slowly how to accept that this has happened to me, and, it's, it's not okay, but it will be, like, I will eventually, hopefully, get over it, and not have to be, like, and hopefully learn to heal from this, but yeah, no, so, I basically kept it on my head, I just learned kind of how to put it away, okay, back to the fanfiction thing, though, I will read spicy fanfiction books, and I think that's helped me understand a little bit of it, so I do know quite a bit about stuff, though. It's still it grosses me out, like, I'll gag at some stuff, like, but, like, it physically grosses, like, I like, okay, I don't know how to explain this. I can read it, like, it's helped me understand better what happens during this time, that, but, like, it still physically grosses me out to ever do it physically, so, yeah, and healing isn't linear, so, it's okay to have those setbacks, so, like, I'm still at the point where I don't want that, and that's okay, and there's a good chance that even by the time I think I'm ready, I might have points of time where I'm not ready again, so it just all depends on the person. There's definitely coping strategies, I didn't do really, coping strategies because I didn't really have an outlet to use them without my mother seeing, and I want her to find out. But journaling, I know that's a big thing. I know I use it for, like, some of my other issues. Mindfulness, just being aware that this happened to you. And, research, ways that can help. I'm going to talk about future episodes, one of my conditions that I suffer from severely, actually. Well, pretty severely, and some ways that help to cope with it. But anyways, sometimes physical activity will help, just because that just weighs down on you so much, like, getting up, getting outside, will just help you. Or creative expression, creating something that will, like, that expresses your feelings out there. So whether that be a painting, a poem, a book, anything like that, it just can sometimes help. Or definitely recommend, or not recommend, but, like, If you need it, go see a therapist. Go see a professional who can help you, who's trained to help you. That will always help. And then you can always, so there's hotlines, there's books, there's websites you can find. Just go online, find what specific resource you need for your specific type of trauma, And there's obviously, like all mental health stuff, there's stigma around trauma. And I'm not saying go out and do this. Just do this if you're okay with this. But normalize speaking openly about trauma. Speaking about your trauma to other people. Because it's going to normalize that it's okay to seek help. And it's going to help create that bigger supportive community for those who are struggling very badly. And always remember, the biggest thing that you could ever do to help yourself is to be kind to yourself. And if you know anyone else suffering from trauma, or even just, even not, just be kind to others. So that's always something. So yeah, just be okay talking about your mental health. Be okay talking about trauma, because it just, like I said, normalizes seeking help. Helps create and support people, because other people know that you're also struggling. And like I said, be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. You don't know what others are going through. You might not even know what you're going through fully. But the best thing you can do is be kind to yourself, because your body and nobody else around you is going to appreciate it if you're mean. So, again, so if you feel comfortable, I'd personally love to hear your experiences, with trauma. Well, not with trauma, but how your experiences, if you have trauma, how you've worked through your trauma. You can share in the comments below if you're comfortable doing that, or if you're not comfortable sharing it publicly, then DM me over on Instagram at StoryUniverse. I keep forgetting to mention my handle. Anyways, if you search that up and it says that account is private, just follow request me. I will accept your follow request as soon as I can. But yeah, anyways, and if you're struggling, of course, reach out. There are people there to help you. Reach out to someone you trust, or reach out to a professional. You might not believe it, but there are actually people there. There are people willing to help you, wanting to help you. That's their hope to help you. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in this very vulnerable conversation. And just remember, trauma doesn't define you. It's a part of your story, but it's not the whole story. Healing is possible, and you're stronger than you realize. The next episode might be about probably smoking and alcohol. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen or not. But anyways, remember, prioritize yourself first and take care of yourself. Okay, I don't want to hear anything bad about you guys. I want you guys to keep on listening and be your amazing selves. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this episode of Struggles on the Margins. I hope today's conversation brought you some comfort. Brought you some comfort. inspiration, or new perspective. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more people find the show, and I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, stories, or ideas with me in the comments below, or on my social media, in the description, or on my bio. Remember, the beauty of life is often found in the margins. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep finding meaning in the little things. Bye.